Okay, welcome everyone. My name is, let me make sure I'm unmuted first. Yes, I am. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is John Jerabek. Welcome to the volunteer orientation section of Angel Flight West Retreat 2021. I'll be your host today. As promised, this section is for orientation for command pilots and Earth Angels. We'll be taking lessons 1 and 2 with quizzes of the command pilot orientation. Then I'll do the same for Earth Angels. You may ask questions at any time during the presentation by using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. I will answer questions at the end of the session. And as I said, we have quite a bit of material to cover, so let's jump right into the command pilot orientation. The command pilot orientation is comprised of 3 general sections. The first section is about the course. This is where the link to the prerequisite for the course, which is the public benefit flying, a separate course called Public Benefit Flying, Balancing Safety and Compassion from AOPA. This link here you can access at any time through the training center, which is located at training.angelflightwest.org. And as I said in the email that I'd sent out announcing the session, we will not be covering the AOPA course today, just the Angel Flight West material. The first part of the video here is getting around in the course. I'm not going to do that for us because make us watch that video because I'm going to be taking care of that. So we are going to, as I said, jump into lesson 1. I will read the text and then I'll play the videos. Lesson 1, Introduction, Getting to Know Us. As a pilot, you are the primary public face of the organization, and it is extremely important that you understand and embrace our values and reflect those values in our service. Toward that end, all volunteers are required to observe the basic policies and expectations. Safety above all else, promoting a culture of professionalism, and focusing on passenger comfort and safety. The objectives to this lesson are to let you know that our policies are intended to protect everyone involved, passengers, the organization, and you, the pilot. After completing this module, you'll be able to identify key personnel in our organization and describe their role and responsibilities. You'll be able to explain our key policies and expectations about safety and professionalism. You'll be able to confirm passenger qualifications for a mission and anticipate any particular concerns passengers may have and apply strategies for addressing them. Also, I have put in the chat my contact information. So as I said, you may contact me anytime after this for assistance as needed. Okay, roles and responsibilities at Angel Flight West. Our success depends on a committed team of individuals working together toward one common goal, helping passengers or others in need. In this video, volunteer pilot Don Margolin introduces you to the roles and responsibilities of the various people you'll be working with regularly as a command pilot. This includes passengers, requesters, mission orientation pilots. This is dependent on your wing. If they have mission orientation pilots currently, check with your wing leader for that. The aforementioned wing leaders. Mission assistants, there's an update to the course, which has not been included yet, which is that mission assistants are now required to be volunteers, which means all they need to do before flying right seat with you is to go to our website and sign up. It's a few-minute operation. We'll also cover Earth Angels and, of course, the ever valuable coordinators. Let's get started.
There are many volunteer pilot organizations across the United States. On any given day, there are likely dozens of private flights providing life-saving transportation to people in need. Running a volunteer pilot organization is like running a small airline. The logistics involved are complex and require a high degree of coordination among the central office, pilots, healthcare providers, and ground transportation providers. In this module, we'll take a look at the different people you will likely be interacting with as a command pilot. Of course, the reason you're taking this course, indeed the reason our organization exists, is the passenger. Everything we do must always be with the passenger in mind. Passengers are usually medical passengers. However, passengers may sometimes have other compelling needs such as relocation due to natural disaster. The passenger may contact us on behalf of himself or herself, but more often than not, a third party is the one to request services. This may be a healthcare provider, a social worker, a family member, or someone else representing the best interest of the passenger. Mission orientation pilots are responsible for preparing new pilots to fly as command pilots. Think of the mission orientation pilot as a resource for you as a new command pilot to answer questions and help guide you through your first flight. Because we cover such a large geographic area, we've created state groups called wings. Each wing has a wing leader who coordinates social events, recruits pilots, and does member outreach for his or her local area. As a command pilot, you're encouraged to take along a mission assistant. Mission assistants do not need to be a registered member, but taking a mission assistant.
I'm going to stop the video right here because that has been updated. Mission assistants are now required to join Angel Flight West. That's the one change for this section.
Assistant is a good opportunity to have a former command pilot who knows the ropes, or a pilot friend, perhaps inspiring him or her to become a volunteer, or a student pilot member who is hoping to fly missions someday. Once a passenger arrives at an airport, there is still the challenge of getting him or her to the final destination, such as a medical center. So, in addition to air transportation, we also provide ground transportation in select cities. When a mission involves ground transportation, pilots need to communicate directly with drivers, coordinators, and mission assistants about estimated times of arrival and departure in order to minimize passenger wait times. Coordinators handle passenger screening and intake, disseminate information to pilots, create itineraries, and are the central point of communication among pilots, passengers requesters, healthcare providers, and ground transportation providers. Coordinators may be paid staff or volunteers and will be your main point of contact with the central office.
Okay, and as I hope is obvious, I am working through the Angel Flight West Training Center in training.angelflightwest.org, so you have access to this material 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As I'm completing this section, I am clicking the Mark Complete button. So as you're doing this on your own, please make sure to do that. Otherwise, the course doesn't record your progress. Next topic, policies and expectations, safety above all else. If you have not yet taken the AOPA online course, Public Benefit Flying and Safety and Compassion, you should do so. I've already covered that previously, so I'm going to mark this section complete. I was just reiterating that point. Thank you for your patience. Okay, we touched on safety a little bit at first. We're going to touch on it again. We are also going to talk a lot about professionalism. There are many reasons the airlines and the professional business pilots have better accident records than general aviation pilots. Some of their success has to do with the aircraft they fly and the ground support and resources they have access to. However, much of their success has to do with their professional attitudes, planning, and ongoing training. This video reviews the following key strategies for maintaining high standards of professionalism: personal minimums, flight minimums, checklists, communication, fuel monitoring, ATC and aircraft resources, flight plans, ongoing training, and scenario-based flight review.
Professional pilots operate under regulations that are more strict than private pilots, and yet most professional pilots establish personal minimums that go beyond industry requirements. As volunteer pilots, we should all follow that example. By signing our pilot affirmation form, each command pilot agrees to remain proficient and abide by the FAA's minimum currency requirements for the appropriate category of aircraft being flown on any mission. Day VFR, 3 takeoff and landings within 90 days. Night VFR, 3 takeoff and landings to a full stop within 90 days. Instrument operations, 6 instrument approaches, holding and intercepting and tracking courses through the use of navigation system in actual IMC or simulated IMC conditions within 6 months, or an instrument proficiency check within the last 12 months. Are FAA currency minimums enough? You must ask and answer that question for yourself honestly. Single pilot night and instrument operations are some of the most demanding operations in general aviation. Low or deteriorating weather conditions increase the requirement that a pilot be on top of his or her game. Crosswinds can be a challenge, even when a pilot is current. Remember, proficiency is a product of more than just recent flight time. Personal health, rest, and stress due to family, work, or other situations can all affect the pilot's concentration and focus. A tired, ill, or distracted pilot is prone to make mistakes. Be honest with yourself about your personal state, your currency, and your proficiency. If you have any doubt that you meet not only the legal requirements, but common sense requirements for safe operations for the conditions you may encounter, then set higher minimums for each type of operation. Set en route and airport weather minimums below which you won't fly. Verify that your aircraft's takeoff and landing performance is suitable for your target airports at the required mission weight, and then add a safety margin. Set personal instrument weather minimums that are appropriate for your instrument currency and abide by them. Set personal criteria for every phase of flight. It is a given that professional pilots use checklists. Always use your checklists. It is important to keep the passenger informed regarding the state of the flight and the current ETA. As a command pilot, all decisions are yours. But if your passenger understands and agrees with your decision, he or she will be more comfortable, and you will be able to better focus on the flight. Professional pilots recognize that weather will often be the primary factor in a successful flight. Therefore, they monitor the weather to minimize any surprises. As a result, they make informed decisions before they are in a situation that may limit their options or undermine the quality of their decisions. Many general aviation accidents are caused by stress due to lack of confidence about fuel supplies. Remaining vigilant about fuel levels, therefore, can eliminate a significant threat to flight safety. A pilot should always know how much fuel is remaining and how much is required to reach both the primary destination and the alternate destination with the legal quantity of fuel remaining on board. Airline pilots usually have a co-pilot, sometimes a relief pilot, and usually instant access to ground support resources through air-to-ground communications. General aviation pilots rarely have these aids, but we often have an autopilot, a passenger, and we can always count on ATC as a resource. Use all of the resources to ensure a successful flight. Both your VPO and the FAA strongly encourage all pilots to file a flight plan. When flying VFR, use of flight following is encouraged where available. All pilots benefit from ongoing training. Ask us about additional training opportunities. The AOPA Safety Institute and the FAA also provide excellent training resources. Volunteer pilots should consider comprehensive scenario-based flight reviews and practice specifically those that address conditions inherent in public benefit missions. By studying these conditions during flight reviews, a pilot will be better prepared for the types of mission they will fly with a volunteer pilot organization. Setting high standards for yourself in terms of how you prepare for a flight, how you conduct yourself during a flight, and how you train for future flights is the hallmark of professionalism. Some examples of scenario-based training might include small and large airport operations, flights into new or unusual environments such as busy terminal areas, mountainous terrain or coastal airports, weather operations specific to all possible mission areas, for example, desert, high altitude operations, mountainous terrain, local weather patterns, marine layer, icing, etc. Multi-leg planning and operations, diverting or returning to the departure airport, IFR introduction and practice for VFR pilots, instrument currency and competency for IFR rated pilots.
Okay, just a couple of points here. VFR pilots are welcome. As of 2020, we now require IFR currency for night flights. That's just a point of interest for you. All right, we've marked this topic complete and moving on to the next topic. Policies and expectations, passenger screening. This video reviews the criteria that we use to qualify passengers to fly with us and the process for verifying those qualifications. We screen passengers very thoroughly to ensure that they not only meet our physical and mental qualifications, but their financial need warrants the generous donation you're making in conducting the flight.
As a command pilot, you will likely be wondering who will be flying with you. Whenever you fly a passenger, you can be sure that they meet a set of qualifications that include financial or other compelling human need. This doesn't necessarily mean people who are destitute. Even otherwise financially stable people, when hit with a significant medical challenge, can incur financial barriers to transportation. This can be due to inability to work, excessive medical bills, repeated need for travel, or all of the above. Remember, healthcare is the #1 reason for declaring bankruptcy. Beyond financial need, passengers turn to us when they are immunocompromised or can't travel commercially for some other reason. Such physical need, however, does not mean that you need to be concerned about a passenger's medical stability. All of our passengers must be able to get in and out of your plane on their own and must not require any kind of care on board. Rest assured that a passenger's medical stability will be verified by a healthcare professional. There are several ways passengers can find and connect with us. We do outreach with healthcare professionals who may contact us on the passenger's behalf, or the passengers may hear about us through news stories or discovered online through social networks. However the prospective passenger finds us, we screen them through an intake process. For medical passengers, either they or someone requesting services on their behalf must fill out a questionnaire with details about their condition, their location, destination, appointment date, weight, and contact information, all of which will be available to you when you are looking for a mission to fly. Medical passengers must also provide a signed document from their physician, case manager, social worker, or other qualified care provider that attests to their financial need, their need to travel for treatment, and their ability to fly in a small non-pressurized airplane without posing a risk to flight safety. If you ever feel that a passenger is not physically or mentally stable and therefore poses any kind of threat to flight safety, you should feel perfectly comfortable canceling the flight and report back to the office about the situation. Once a passenger has been approved for service, a coordinator will brief him or her by phone on what to expect during the flight, what it's like to fly in a small airplane, the logistics involved, the importance of clear and precise communications with everyone involved, and the importance of providing up-to-date contact information. Passengers are also reminded that no flight is guaranteed and may be canceled up until takeoff for mechanical, weather, or any other reason. Or even after takeoff, the flight may be diverted, so they should have a backup plan. During the briefing, the coordinator will also reconfirm all the logistical and contact information the passenger or requester has provided. You will also talk directly with the passenger after you sign up for the mission and reconfirm all information. Prior to a flight, both you and the office will have had several interactions with the passenger, and yet about a third of the flights are canceled. In addition to cancellations due to mechanical, weather, or other safety issues, a flight may be canceled if the mission has multiple legs and there's no pilot available to fly one or more of the legs. Flights are also often canceled by the passenger or medical facility. The passenger may not be healthy enough to fly, or the medical facility may need to change the appointment. And this change may happen with only a day or two notice. Some passengers find it difficult to plan all the logistics of a trip, such as lodging or airport pickups. In some cases, the passenger is heavily medicated and possibly somewhat confused. Some passengers simply lack these planning skills. We will do everything we can to prevent such cancellations. We know your time is valuable, and it is frustrating when schedules are changed at the last minute. To some extent, however, you will have to accept that cancellations are sometimes unavoidable.
Okay, policies and expectations, passenger screening and marking complete. Policies and expectations, did we get there? Let's see. When flying charitable public benefit missions, you are more than a pilot. You are a caregiver who must be sensitive to the needs of the passengers who may be in both physical and emotional distress. This video highlights some of the key considerations to be mindful of and provides examples of how and when your demeanor and attentiveness can be particularly important.
Understanding your passenger's mindset is important when flying as a volunteer pilot. Often, your passenger will have little or no experience with general aviation flying. Your passenger may watch orientation videos prior to their flight, but it is likely that they will still have concerns and fears and need additional education and reassurance from you in order to feel safe and comfortable. Taking the time to provide your passengers with an overview of your plane and the basics of flying while conducting an abbreviated walk-around will often ease a passenger's concern and fears. For example, one misconception people have is that if the engine were to stop, an aircraft would immediately go into an uncontrollable dive. You can help minimize that fear by educating your passenger about your ability to fly your plane without an engine, like a glider. Passengers often don't know about the dangers that airplanes present, such as invisible spinning props. Escort your passengers to and from your aircraft, making certain that everyone is following a safe path, especially children. Make certain that your engines are shut down prior to enplaning and deplaning, and manage your passengers so they remain clear of other aircraft, whether the engines are operating or not. FAR 91.519 requires that general aviation pilots provide a thorough briefing for all passengers on every flight. A good briefing may include, but is not limited to, an explanation of seatbelt and shoulder harness operation, operation of entry doors and emergency exits, location and use of survival equipment, life jackets and life vests, the use of oxygen masks, and what the passenger should and shouldn't do during the flight. From an operational standpoint, the passengers should be briefed on how to use headsets, including where to place the microphone, the intercom if applicable, the pilot's preferred hand signals, and any other operational information you feel is important. Pilots should be prepared to communicate with passengers who are blind, deaf, or those who speak a different language. For deaf passengers, ensure paper and pen are available. Your passenger briefing should include the concept of a sterile cockpit. During the time from engine start through the climb to cruising altitude, passengers should only speak to the pilot if there are personal problems or issues, or to assist the pilot by pointing out other aircraft, for example. The same sterile cockpit rule should apply whenever you specify on the descent, through arrival and engine shutdown. You should explain to your passengers how they should get your attention if they do have a problem or issue, and you should notify your passengers when it's okay to speak freely. All passengers should wear seatbelts at all times. Young children and babies must be in car seats that are attached to the plane's seats. The type and orientation of the child seats must be appropriate for the child's age, weight, and size. No child seat should ever be placed in the front seat of the aircraft. Being constantly aware of your passenger's condition can make a great difference in the success of a flight. If your passenger is uncomfortable for whatever reason, it is your responsibility to address their discomfort. Often that will mean nothing more than providing fresh air, a temperature adjustment, or changing to a smoother altitude. However, if the passenger is physically uncomfortable, it might mean diverting to another airport or returning to the departure airport. In extreme cases where the passenger's condition might be life-threatening, it might require declaring an emergency and flying directly to an airport located near suitable medical facilities. If you encounter a questionable situation, declare an emergency and land as soon as practical. It is not appropriate to receive any flight training while a passenger is on board the aircraft. This can give passengers the impression that you're unaware of how to fly. You may take a flight instructor along as a mission assistant, but he or she can only instruct when there is no passenger on board. Additionally, please use care when communicating with another pilot in the right seat. Chatter about the right way to do something or casual comments about safety or other inappropriate comments can make a passenger uncomfortable or frightened. Passengers may offer to reimburse you for all or part of the cost of the flight. Do not accept any reimbursement or compensation in kind for the trip, as this will endanger our status with both the IRS and FAA, not to mention your own pilot's license. Passengers may make a tax-deductible contribution to the organization. You may share costs with a mission assistant, but only to the extent allowed under the FAR's Part 91. Due to their personal circumstance, passengers may not always seem personable or have the capacity to demonstrate gratitude. They may even appear bitter, antisocial, and ungrateful. This is not a reflection on you, nor does it mean they are not grateful. It more likely means they are consumed with an extremely difficult situation. Such passengers require your patience and understanding. Sometimes plans change. As pilot in command, you are in charge of the mission and must decide what changes are acceptable or necessary to complete the mission. If a potential change jeopardizes the mission's safety, reject it immediately. A polite but firm no is certainly your prerogative if you don't like a suggested change. Sometimes there is not one major reason for the change, but several minor reasons. Things are just not right for a safe, legal, and on-time mission. When you make changes, please remember, you may need to delay departure, wait until the next day, switch aircraft, find a mission assistant who can share mission duties, leave someone or some baggage behind, or cancel the mission. It is best to consult with other parties involved in the mission, like pilots of linking legs, to discuss your planned change. Sometimes what works for you may not work for them. Don't make promises a pilot of a linking leg or the pilot of the return leg can't deliver. For example, if you agree to take an extra passenger or extra baggage, a linking pilot may not be able to accommodate the extra weight. If you do make a significant change in plans that may affect other parties to the mission, please call all parties who may be affected, including the office. Don't assume they have already been contacted.
I will just reiterate there what Don was saying about contacting the office, and also when it comes to things like car seats or booster seats or things you may not be familiar with. The mission operations team is here to support you, so know that you can reach out to them at any time regarding any of this, the minutia of what gets into a mission that you may not be already comfortable with. Frequently asked questions. Here are some answers to questions we frequently ask. Our mission orientation pilots and staff are always available to answer any specific questions. In an earlier session, the November Golf Foxtrot Angel Flight call sign was discussed. The most important thing to know about this is you have to have a changeable ADSB out. If you do not, and you use your call sign, you can get a call sign mismatch. FAA is starting to give us notices about that through the Air Care Alliance, I believe, or the Air Charity Network, not sure which. Mission photos. Please take pictures of your missions. During COVID, mission photos have to have masks on everybody. Very important to remember that. And we do appreciate your photos, and they are very valuable to us for outreach and to share on social media to that end. Tax deductions. We are a charitable organization under the federal tax code, and contributions can be deducted to the full extent of the law. There's a session being given by Bob Strawn, the Northern California wing leader, on tax deductions during the session, I believe, during the retreat this year. Discounts on fuel, another good question. In most cases, FBOs waive fees, and in many cases, they also offer discounts on fuel. We do our best in the office to track those issues, and let us know when you do come across an FBO that is friendly to us, and we'll make note of that in our FBO database and pass that information along to your fellow command pilots. Getting to know us. As a pilot, you are the primary public face of our organization, and it's extremely important that you understand and embrace our values and reflect these values in your service with us. Toward that end, all volunteers are required to observe the following basic policies and expectations. Oh, does that mean we are done with lesson one? I'm sorry, I was starting over again there. I'm now going to move on to the lesson one quiz. Pardon my clumsiness. This is a point where you may want to take notes so that you can get these questions right when you complete your quiz. Consider the following scenario. This is question 1 of 6. It's a cold day and you're flying a 62-year-old patient to a radiation treatment center. Your passenger is not talking much. Looking back, you notice that she has her sweater on and her arms wrapped around herself. Based on your observation, which of the following seems the most appropriate? Assume your passenger is cold and turn up the cabin heat. Say nothing, you don't want to disturb your passenger. Or ask your passenger if she is comfortable and whether she needs anything. The correct answer to this question is to ask your passenger if she is comfortable and whether she needs anything. It is always a good idea to ask your passenger if there's anything they need to feel more comfortable. Next question. Question 2 of 6. Match the type of car seat to the most appropriate age by dragging the correct car seat type into the space next to each age group. Again, practically speaking, if you have questions about this after requesting a mission, you can always reach out to the mission ops team. I will give you the correct answers now. A 10-year-old child goes in a seatbelt. A 7-year-old child has a booster seat. A 4-year-old child can sit in a forward-facing car seat, and an infant always goes in a rear-facing car seat. And remember, you never put a car seat in the right seat. They always go in the back seat. So question 2 of 6, let's check my answers. Son of a gun, I got it right. 10-year-olds get seat belts. Infants get rear-facing car seats. 4-year-olds get forward-facing car seats, and 7-year-olds get booster seats. Those are the correct answers to question 2. Question 3. Flight instruction. You may wish to bring a CFI along on your flight to combine your charitable flight with some flight instruction. Which of the following statements is true? Flight instruction is only permitted if the passenger also receives equal time. That sounds like a pretty good one. Flight instruction is only permitted on a leg where the passenger is not on board. Flight instruction is not permitted at any time on a charitable flight. Flight instruction under the hood is not permitted. The correct answer to question 3 is flight instruction is only permitted on a leg when the passenger is not on board. So again, feel free to receive dual instruction anytime a passenger is not on board. Question 4, mission assistance. A mission assistant accompanies the command pilot on the flight. Which of the following statements are true about the mission assistant? Select all that apply. A mission assistant can help communicate with the passenger and provide other assistance he or she may require. That sounds like a good answer. A mission assistant must be a member of your organization. Also sounds like a good answer. We encourage you to bring a mission assistant along if it's convenient for you. That is true. However, during COVID, we have backed off our automated system for matching mission assistants to pilots. As PIC, whether or not you need to bring along someone to fly right seat is your decision. In general, we encourage that. Including a mission assistant helps involve more people with the organization and its work, and thereby benefits the organization and the mission assistant. I wholeheartedly agree with that answer as well. And a mission assistant must be a licensed current pilot. That is not true. A mission assistant can be anyone you want to bring along to fly right seat. They just have to be a member of the organization. Okay. Again, anyone can be a mission assistant. They may not be a licensed pilot, but they do have to be a member of the organization. I will fix that. Question 5 of 6, passenger screening. The coordination team handles the intake of requests for charitable flights, which come over the phone, through the website, via email, and from social media sites. Flights may be requested by the following: the passenger, a physician, a hospital social worker, a friend or relative of the passenger, or any of these. The correct answer is any of these. Again, requests come from a variety of sources, but all are carefully screened to ensure their appropriateness for a charitable flight. Last question of lesson 1 quiz, canceling missions. Safety is our top priority. When checking the weather for a flight you are scheduled to fly today, you see that the conditions for your destination airport are currently IFR, but are above FAA minimums. Which of the following is the most appropriate action? Call the coordinators at the office to determine if the flight should be canceled. Decide for yourself whether all conditions of the flight are above your own personal minimums and whether you can complete the flight safely considering all your current personal circumstances. Otherwise, cancel the flight. Or do not cancel the flight if the destination airport is above FAA minimums. Or find a well-qualified pilot who can fly right seat on the flight. The most appropriate action is to decide for yourself whether all conditions of the flight are above your own personal minimums and whether you can complete the flight safely considering all of your current personal circumstances. Otherwise, cancel the flight. That's the correct answer. Decisions about safety are always yours and yours alone as PIC. You are encouraged to cancel the mission if you have any doubt that the flight can be conducted safely, and that's why the mission ops team is here, is to help you and help the passenger when flights get canceled. That's the end of the lesson 1 quiz. Let's move on to lesson 2. Lesson 2. Mission processes and procedures. By now, you are probably eager to get up in the air with your first passenger, but before you can fly your first mission, you need to know the processes and procedures for requesting, executing, and completing a mission. Lesson objectives. After completing this lesson, you will be able to use your organization's online system to organize and manage your missions, complete mandatory mission documentation, communicate with colleagues and passengers before, during, and after a mission. To begin, let's start with the first topic below. Introduction to VPOIDs. Running a volunteer pilot organization is like running a small airline. Pilots, passengers, drivers, and medical resources must all be synchronized to ensure a safe and seamless trip door to door. All of that coordination and management happens through VPOIDs, an online mission management system. VPOIDs is the software we use to coordinate our flights. This video provides an overview of the main features of VPOIDs.
VPOIDs is the online system for coordinating missions and facilitating communication among pilots, drivers, patients, medical facilities, and our staff. There are 3 main sections to the VPOID site. The instrument panel is the primary information area of the site. It provides access to missions you have signed up for, past missions you have flown, and available missions for which pilots are needed. The account settings is where you manage the information you provide your organization about yourself, your aircraft, and your communication preferences. The left side of the page contains the main site navigation, with links for accessing missions, people, tools, and reports. The other topics in this lesson provide detail on how to use VPOIDs to find out about opportunities for flying missions, sign up for missions, manage missions, close out missions, and more.
I'm going to mark this section complete. In order to get started with VPOIDs, you will need a member ID number, which is actually issued during the sign-up process. This video reviews the login procedure, the procedure for creating a new password, and the procedure for resetting your password if you forget it. I'll just reiterate here that if you are having issues logging in, you can always reach out to me, John J. at angelflightwest.org, or at the office during business hours, 310-390-2958. I'll put that in the chat as well. My extension is 104. Let's start with logging in.
Access to VPOIDs requires a username and password. If you already have a username and password, enter them in the appropriate fields and select Login. If you already have a username and password but have forgotten your password, select Forgot Password to reset it. You will be prompted for a username, or you can use your ID number. Enter either your username or ID number and select Submit. Instructions for how to reset your password will be emailed to you. If you do not yet have a username and password, you can create them from the login screen. To do so, you will need to have your member ID and the zip code you provided in your registration. Enter your member ID number, your name, and zip code. You will be prompted to choose a username and password. Your username must be unique, so you may have to modify your first choice if it has already been taken. Enter a password, enter it again to confirm it, and select Submit. Review and agree to the acceptable use policy, then return to the login screen and use your newly created login credentials.
Account settings. When logging into VPoids the first time, it's a good idea to check your account settings to confirm, correct, or add to your account information. This video reviews the account settings section, including personal information, password, email preferences, pilot information and documentation, and pilot availability. Again, in real life, I am always available to help you with any of these things. Let's start with the managing account settings.
Once you have logged into VPoids, we suggest you check your account settings. To view or edit your account settings, click the link in the top right navigation. This brings up the account settings page. Here you can edit your personal account information, password, email preferences, and your personal flight information. From the account settings page, you can also subscribe or unsubscribe to any email lists your organization maintains, renew your membership if necessary, and upload any required documentation, such as licensure or your pilot affirmation. Anytime your personal information such as home address, email, or phone number is missing, incorrect, or changes, it is important that you update your personal account information so that your organization can contact you when necessary. To make any additions or corrections to your personal account information, select Edit or the pencil icon and complete the appropriate fields. Be sure to select Save after making any changes, otherwise they will not take effect. The more information you can provide about your aircraft, your credentials, and your flying availability, the better VPoids can personalize your mission search and selection. Select Add or the plus sign next to Aircraft and fill out the registration fields for any aircraft you will be using to fly missions. Adding any personal flight plans you have will enable the system to find corresponding missions. As will any particular time periods that you indicate as being available or unavailable. Select Edit next to Pilot Information to indicate a preferred primary and secondary airport and wing, along with your license type, certification, and your flightplan.com username if you have one. Remember to select Save. To upload relevant documents, select Add next to Member Documents. Enter a document title and select the type of document from the menu. Then select Choose File and navigate to the document on your computer or mobile device. And then select Save to upload it. Membership information on the account settings page is for your reference and cannot be changed. If your membership is due for renewal, however, a link to the membership form will display here, or you can use the link in the left side navigation. To renew your membership, add or update any personal information and follow the step-by-step instructions for completing the renewal process.
Okay, again, I'm going to mark the topic complete. Finding a mission to fly. There are a few different ways to learn about missions that need pilots. The best way is VPOIDs and perhaps the mobile app. In this topic, you will see how to use VPOIDs to browse available missions, sign up for automatic email alerts for available missions. This next video, you'll be seeing how to practically browse, select, and sign up for a mission.
Upon logging into VPOIDs, you will see an instrument panel with an interactive map showing available missions. Select a location icon on the map to view a summary of the corresponding mission. Select the mission number in the summary to request it. To view available missions in list format, select Avail under Missions in the left side navigation. The missions available list will most likely be the feature of VPOIDs you will use the most as a pilot, so take some time to familiarize yourself with it. You will see that passenger travel information has a hierarchy in VPOIDs, consisting of itineraries, missions, and mission legs. An itinerary consists of one or more missions. For example, in this case, the itinerary would consist of 2 missions, 2 treatment, and then back home. If a mission is too long for one flight, the coordinator will sometimes divide it into several legs. Each leg has its own origin and destination. For example, a mission goes from point A to point D, but leg 1 goes from point A to point B, leg 2 goes from point B to point C, and leg 3 goes from point C to point D. A mission leg is the part of the passenger's travel experience that a single pilot will fly. Therefore, when you request a flight, you are requesting a mission leg. Flights over 1,000 miles are always broken into 2 or more legs. Or a mission may include a ground leg, which is transportation by car from the airport to the passenger's final destination. A P for pilot indicates that a mission leg is a flight, while a G indicates that it is a ground leg. If a mission has multiple legs, one or more of the legs may be filled, while some may still be available. So you may see a mission with both available and filled legs. You can only request the mission legs that are available, which means they do not yet have a command pilot. As you can see, the default basic view of the available mission list can get fairly long. You can use filters at the top of the page to help narrow down your list and increase the relevance of the listed missions to your location, availability, aircraft, and other factors. In the basic view, you can filter by wing, airport, or type of leg, air or ground. The advanced view provides additional filters and the ability to save your filter settings so that they will be applied by default each time you return to look for available missions. For example, if you know you can only fly on certain days of the week, turn the other days off. Or if your plane only has room for 2 passengers, you can filter out missions with more than 2 passengers. Efficiency is a calculation based on the home airport in your account settings. A flight that starts or ends at your home base airport will have an efficiency of 100%. The efficiency will be lower depending on the distance of the originating or destination airport, whichever is closer, from your home base, and how far it is out of the way of the path of flight. If you don't see many available missions, this is probably due to the efficiency being too high. To ignore efficiency as a filter criterion, set the efficiency to 1. Like efficiency, the availability filter is also driven by your account settings. If you have specified your availability in your account settings, only missions that match your availability will be displayed. If you are not seeing enough missions listed, it may be because you have too many filters applied. Note that some of these fields may be initially hidden. For example, if you have saved settings that include an airport, only missions to or from that airport are shown. You need to click on the link for airport to see if there is a value specified for the airport. Changing the airport will change the results of your search. You can also set VPOIDs to show only the missions that are scheduled for the same time that you indicated you have personal flights in your account settings. To show more missions, you can progressively remove filters which are preventing missions from appearing. Try decreasing the efficiency figure, for example. The maximum range and maximum passengers may also be limiting the number of flights you see. Select the link to Save Filter Settings to save your filter and have them applied to future searches by default. Once you have selected or deselected your filter criteria, select the Find button to update the list. The compact view lists all available missions with the details hidden. You can apply the basic filters in the compact view and sort the list by the given parameters. This can be an efficient way to quickly find missions that meet certain criteria. To reveal more information about a particular mission, click the white plus sign.
Yes, and always remember to request a mission at the end of your search. As you can see, filtering and viewing options in Viewpoints are plentiful, so you should be able to tailor that view to what works best for you fairly easily. Mission email alerts. There are several email distribution lists you can sign up for in Viewpoints, including alerts about currently available flights. You should check the list periodically to see what flights are available and to manage your communications preferences with us. We never want to overwhelm you with emails, but we also want to make sure you're informed about all the volunteer opportunities we have. This video provides more detail on how to manage those alerts.
Your organization uses email to communicate with members individually, in groups, and via several different email lists. In order to ensure timely and accurate communication with us, make sure that the addresses we have for your primary and optional secondary email are current and accurate. The email address field under Email Preferences is the same as the primary email address in your personal information settings. When you change your email address here, you are changing the primary email address in your personal information settings. In addition to communicating directly with an individual member via email, your organization sends mass emails to members. For example, to find a pilot for a mission at the last minute, a coordinator may send an email to all command pilots. To receive such communications, be sure the block email toggle is set to No. Note that this setting only acts on mass emails. If you set the block toggle to Yes, you will still receive personal emails from us as needed. Email alerts are a good way to learn about available missions and other news from your organization. The link next to each list title toggles between subscribe and unsubscribe. Each list is separate, so you must subscribe or unsubscribe to each list individually, depending on whether or not you want to receive emails from that list.
All right, once you have found a mission that you're interested in flying, the next step is to submit a pilot request. Your request will be reviewed by a coordinator, and in most cases, your request will be accepted, but it is possible that someone has requested a mission ahead of you. This video reviews the process for requesting a mission in Viewpoints.
Once you find a mission you're interested in, you can request one or more legs from the available missions list. Legs that are available have a button labeled Request this mission. Legs that have been requested by you or another pilot are designated as such. Select the Request button to request the flight. A mission summary form will display. Fill in the mission summary form as follows. Pilot type. Depending on your flight status, you can request this leg as a command pilot, mission assistant, backup pilot, or backup mission assistant. The command pilot and backup pilot options are only available if your flight status is command pilot. Add your aircraft to indicate which aircraft you intend to fly on this mission. Enter your tail number. This information is helpful for passengers to find you at the airport. Indicate whether or not you would like a backup pilot on the flight. If you wish to have a mission assistant on the flight, you can select this option. Members will be able to find your flight in a list of mission assistants wanted, and they will contact you to coordinate their participation. Finally, enter any comments you wish to convey to the flight coordinator about the mission. Check the box under the statement to indicate agreement with the requirements, and then select Request Mission. Once you submit your request, the request will be reviewed by the coordination staff. The leg you requested may have already been requested by another pilot, or there may be another reason why the coordination staff may not choose you for this leg. You should receive confirmation by email or phone by midday the next business day. However, it is possible that another pilot has requested the same mission, so if you do not receive confirmation, call the office.
Once you've been assigned a mission, there are a few things you'll need to do to ensure a safe and smooth experience for everyone involved. These include reviewing and confirming the information on the mission assistant form, communicating with your passenger, fellow pilots, drivers, and the coordination office, and submitting a completed liability waiver when applicable. Let's go ahead and watch this video, Managing a Mission.
If you are assigned a mission, you will be emailed a copy of the mission assignment form, like this one. Read the entire form immediately before contacting your passenger. After you have reviewed the mission assignment form, it is important to contact the passenger directly, unless informed otherwise by the mission operations staff. This must be done immediately, regardless of when the flight is scheduled, even if you don't have all the details at the moment. Passengers can get anxious when they don't know a pilot has been assigned to their flight. Make a detailed plan with your passenger that covers communications and logistics, including the items in the checklist from your command pilot manual. Sometimes someone other than the patient requests the flight. In that case, the mission operations staff may inform you that you are to contact the requester instead of the passenger. The requester will then be the person who relays details of the flight to the passengers. Whenever possible, however, it is best to confirm departure time and trip logistics with passengers directly. If you are flying one leg of a multi-leg flight, you will always be given the names and phone numbers of the pilots flying the other legs, as well as the contact information for other linking organizations involved in the flight. It is important to also make immediate contact with other pilots to verify travel times and meeting locations, and to exchange phone and aircraft information. If you are flying the first leg of a multi-leg flight and a passenger makes a last-minute change that increases weight or passenger numbers from what is indicated on the mission assignment form, it is imperative that you contact the coordination office before departing. Remember that the pilot flying the next leg or the return flight may not have the same weight or seat capabilities. You as command pilot have final say over denying or accommodating the increased weight and additional passengers, including excess baggage.
Okay, the waiver of liability. Every passenger must sign a one-time waiver of liability when they request transportation assistance from Angel Flight West. This one-time waiver is designed to protect you, the pilot, and your organization from legal action connected with your mission. In most cases, the one-time waiver is collected by the mission operations team during the intake and request process. In other words, before the flight. There are some situations where you may be required to collect a waiver planeside before the mission. The example is a patient travels with a companion, and on the day of the flight, a different companion shows up than the one listed on the itinerary, and we need to collect a waiver at that point. Point of interest, the mission operations team will do everything they can to collect that waiver before the flight, and we are available to assist you, of course, at any time if you have any questions about that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this complete. after the mission. Okay, so after you've completed the mission, you'll need to fill out a mission report. This is an important step in our record keeping, so we ask that you please complete your mission report promptly. The information you provide will also be reported to you as a receipt of your charitable contribution.
Mission reports are an important way for your organization to monitor its performance and accomplishments. Mission reports also provide you, the pilot, a way to track your flight hours for the year, which can be tax deductible. To file a mission report, select the File Mission Report link under Reports in the left side navigation. Select the mission for which you would like to file a report, then select the File Report button below to continue and complete the form. Note that you can select multiple mission legs and group them under one mission report. If, for example, you flew 2 passengers on one flight, or if you flew 1 passenger on a round trip in the same day. Do not, however, group multiple mission legs under one mission report if the flights occurred on different days. Sometimes pilots purchase a commercial ticket for a passenger rather than fly the flight. If you purchase a commercial ticket, enter the cost of the ticket in the commercial flight field. Your organization will include this cost in the year-end summary of your donation. Provide the Hobbs time for your flight. The Hobbs time is reported in your year-end summary that VPOIDS provides and can be used in combination with the hourly operating cost you have determined for your aircraft to calculate your in-kind donation for tax purposes. We recommend that you provide the Hobbs time for the complete trip, not just the leg on which the passenger was on board. However, how you calculate and report your in-kind donation for tax purposes is up to you in consultation with your tax advisor. Use the expense field to track the expenses you incur for the mission, such as fuel and food. VPOIDS will keep track of these expenses and include them in the year-end summary as well. Indicate the aircraft you used to fly the mission, unless you purchased a commercial ticket for the passenger, in which case, leave the aircraft selection blank. Provide any comments you have about the mission, positive or negative. Pilot comments are an important tool for your organization to monitor and improve policies and processes. If you took any photos during the mission, upload them here. Select Submit to file your report. Mission summaries provide views of any past missions you've flown, upcoming missions you have been assigned, or requests for missions that you have submitted. They are the best way to access the electronic version of the liability waiver. From the mission summaries, you can also view and print the itinerary for the mission leg and view the mission report after it has been filed.
Okay, how to promote community. Topic 2.7, the service you provide as a volunteer pilot is vital, and it can be emotionally intense. In light of the difficult situation many of our passengers are in, the bonds and sense of community people can form can be powerful. 2 ways you can increase your participation in our community are to take and upload mission photos and to attend social events. We encourage you to take photos during your mission, provided anyone in the photo has initialed the item on the liability waiver, giving permission to use their image. This is an option to upload mission photo. There is an option to upload mission photos when you fill out a mission report, and this is the preferred method, meaning versus emailing us a photo. We much prefer that you upload it with the mission report. You can also upload photos separately by selecting the Upload Photos link on the left-hand side navigation. That's also fine. And to stay informed about events, you can subscribe to the monthly events email list or just select the calendar events from the left side navigation. Okay, lesson 2 quiz. Question 1 of 8, finding available missions. Which of the following are ways of finding out about available missions in your area? Select all that apply. Sign up for our email of available missions in your account settings in VPOIDS. That sounds like a good answer. Check the missions available list in VPOIDS. That sounds like a good answer. Call the office to ask about available flights. That sounds like a good answer and is. Visit your local airport and look for any passengers who may need transportation. That's not a correct answer. So the correct answers are sign up for email of available missions, check the missions available list, and call the office to ask about available flights. Question 2, requesting missions. After you have requested a mission in VPOIDS, which is the most appropriate next step? Contact the office by phone to see if you've been assigned the flight. Wait until midday of the next business day to hear back from the coordination team that you've been assigned the flight. Contact the passenger to see if you've been assigned the flight, or go to the airport and fly the flight. The correct answer is to wait until midday of the next business day to hear back from the coordination team that you have been assigned the flight. For example, if you request a flight at 9 p.m. on Friday evening, you're not going to get a confirmation until Monday morning. So again, wait until midday of the next business day to hear back from the coordination team that you have been assigned the flight is the correct answer. The reason for this is since multiple people may request a flight, do not assume that you will be assigned the flight. As Sherry noted earlier, in a separate session, we generally, it's a first come, first served situation. Question 3, when should you complete your mission report? Mission reports are not required unless there is something special to report. That's not the correct answer. Only after your flight plan is closed, or as soon as possible after the mission has been completed, or 24 hours after the passenger has completed his or her treatment. There are multiple answers that might be correct for this question, but the correct answer is as soon as possible after the mission has been completed is the correct answer. Again, question 3, when should you complete your mission report? Correct answer, as soon as possible after the mission has been completed. Question 4, single leg missions. When you've been assigned a single leg mission by the coordination team and have received the mission itinerary form by email, which is the most appropriate next step? Contact the passenger as soon as possible and let them know that you've been assigned to fly the mission. Passengers often become anxious when they don't know if a pilot has been assigned. Or contact the passenger once you have all of your flight planning complete. Or contact the passenger the day before the flight once you've checked the weather and are quite confident you can complete the flight safely, or wait for the passenger to contact you, or do not contact the passenger as the office will coordinate all communication with the passenger. The correct answer is to contact the passenger as soon as possible and let them know you've been assigned to fly the mission. Passengers often become anxious when they don't know if a pilot has been assigned. That is the correct answer. So again, for when you've been assigned a single leg mission by the coordination team and have received the mission itinerary form by email, the most appropriate next step is to contact the passenger as soon as possible and let them know you've been assigned to fly the mission. Question 5 of 8, mission photos. Which is the best way to send us photos of your mission? By email? By uploading them as part of your mission report? By printing them and sending them in the mail? By uploading them to a popular photo sharing website? The correct answer is by uploading them as a part of your mission report. To reiterate, the best way to get us photos, include them with your mission report. Question 6 of 8, multi-leg missions. It is the morning of a multi-leg mission and you are scheduled to fly the second leg in the early afternoon. Your destination airport is currently below minimums, but the forecast is to be above minimums and your personal minimums for the scheduled time of arrival. Which of the following actions is most appropriate? Call the office, call the pilot of the other legs, since one of them may be responsible for contacting the passenger and one of them may have different personal minimums than you. Call your passenger and let them know about the possible need to cancel the weather, and you will confirm after checking the weather closer to departure time, or check the weather again closer to departure time, or cancel the mission. The correct answer is to call the pilot of the other legs, since one of them may be responsible for contacting the passenger, and one of them may have different personal minimums than you. Again, for the multi-leg missions question, the correct answer is to call the pilots of the other legs because one of them may be responsible for contacting the passenger and one of them may have different personal minimums than you. Question 7 of 8, single leg missions. It is the morning of a single leg mission and you're scheduled to fly in the early afternoon. Your destination airport is currently below minimums but is forecast to be above minimums and your personal minimums for the scheduled time of arrival. Which of the following actions is most appropriate? Check the weather again closer to departure time? Call the office? Call your passenger and ask them how the weather looks? Cancel the mission? or call your passenger and let them know about the possible need to cancel due to weather, and that you will confirm after checking the weather again closer to departure time. The correct answer is to call your passenger and let them know about the possible need to cancel due to weather, and that you will confirm after checking the weather again closer to departure time. Okay, question 8 of 8, liability waivers. When is the one-time liability waiver collected? After every mission, before every mission, or one time, either by the mission operations staff during the intake process or plane side by an Angel Flight West volunteer if there is a same-day passenger substitution? One time is the correct answer to the one-time liability waiver question. Okay. We have concluded with lesson 1 and lesson 2 of command pilot orientation. The remaining step is to get us the required documentation. You can do so by visiting training.angelflightwest.org and uploading there. You can also upload through VPOIDs as demonstrated by an earlier video, or you can email them to me and I will assist you. Again, I am always available to assist you with regard to anything Angel Flight West related, and specifically with the training materials. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat right now, and I am going to move on to the Earth Angel orientation as we are running short of time. Lesson 1, getting to know Angel Flight West. If you are a command pilot, I would encourage you to stick around for this, as you may end up driving some ground legs. Getting to know Angel Flight West. With over 2,000 volunteer pilots, a growing number of volunteer drivers, and a dedicated office staff to coordinate daily transportation needs, Angel Flight West operates much like a small airline. And as with any airline, safe and reliable transportation is a complex challenge, dependent upon well-honed systems and the people who carry them out. Lesson objectives. After completing this lesson, you will be able to identify key Angel Flight West office staff, observe Angel Flight West policies when providing volunteer services, and observe proper Angel Flight West procedures when providing volunteer service. Getting to know Angel Flight West roles and responsibilities. The success of Angel Flight West depends on a committed team of individuals working together toward one common goal, helping patients heal. This topic introduces some of the individuals who work in the Angel Flight West office. You'll be talking by phone or email with them, us, as part of your volunteer work. So take the time here to introduce them. Here's a welcome message from our fearless leader, Josh.
I'd like to introduce you to some of the people that make this process possible. Our staff that arrange these volunteer drives, and some volunteers who actually serve as Earth Angels. Right? Mm-hmm. I'd like to introduce.
So on the day of the flight, inevitably things can come up, and that's when the coordination team is here to help the pilots and the passengers. Sometimes pilots do have to cancel at the last minute due to a mechanical problem or a weather issue or things like that. So at that point, we either reach out to other pilots to see if someone else might be able to fly, or we contact the passengers and we work on a backup plan. The cool thing about our volunteers is the moment we send out an email about a canceled flight, we're flooded with phone calls and emails of other people who want to help. Sometimes passengers are even able to help each other. In one case, we had a passenger in San Diego who offered to drive another passenger to LA for their treatment together. So there's some pretty cool stories about people jumping in to help when that happens.
Angel Flight West strives to maintain a culture of safety and professionalism at all times. Toward that end, we require all volunteers to observe the following basic policies and procedures. Safety above all else, making sure the waiver of liability has been signed, of course, as I mentioned previously. Mission operations collects those waivers, and the only exception to that is if we have a same-day substitution, and you can always reach out to mission ops for assistance with that. And then driver documentation. Angel Flight West policies are intended to protect everyone involved, passengers, the organization, and you, the driver. Safety above all else. Along with a desire to help comes the responsibility to ensure passenger safety. As an Earth Angel, you must always be focused on your safety as you plan and execute your missions. It's your responsibility to plan and coordinate the drive, determine your ability to conduct the trip safely within the mission time frame, Cancel the trip if conditions dictate. Do your best to assure your passengers' safety and comfort. And here are the 3 rules of safety. Drivers are expected to assume a professional manner while completing an Angel Flight mission. Safe missions start with the driver's expectations and attitude. Angel Flight West's 3 rules of safety hold that: number 1, no driver is required to accept any particular mission. Number 2, no driver is required to complete a mission if at all in doubt about completing it safely. And number 3, no driver should compromise safety in any way to complete a mission. Trip cancellation. As an Angel Flight driver, you should never feel pressure to complete a mission if conditions are unsafe. Canceling a mission due to safety is considered a demonstration of good judgment and will never be criticized. Examples of unsafe conditions include weather that makes for dangerous driving, mechanical problems with the vehicle, or driver impairment of any kind. If you are ever in doubt about your ability to complete a trip safely to these or other conditions, you're encouraged to change or cancel the trip. Seat belts and car seats. Seat belts must, of course, be worn at all times by passengers. Young children and babies must be in appropriate child or baby seats. Child or baby seats must be appropriately secured to passenger seats and oriented correctly for the age of the child and the type of seat. And children under the age of 13 should never ride in the front seat of the car. Again, in the real world, you can reach out to the Mission Ops team for assistance with any of these items. And here we have some helpful guidelines from safeguard.gov and National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this as complete. One little more note is that passengers bring their own car seats. We do not provide car seats, so that's not a concern. Okay, we have a new waiver process as of November 2020. Every passenger must sign a one-time waiver of liability when they request transportation assistance from Angel Flight West. This one-time waiver is designed to protect the passenger, you, the Earth Angel, and the organization from legal action connected with your mission. In most cases, the one-time waiver is collected by staff during the intake and request process. There are some situations when you may be required to collect a waiver car side before missions. The example is the same as with a command pilot air leg, is that a patient will travel with a companion, and on the day of travel, a different companion than the one listed in the itinerary shows up as a last-minute substitution, and we have resources and procedures in place to help you complete that task. Okay, lesson 1 quiz for Earth Angels. Question 1, which of the best summarizes the 3 rules of safety? Number 1, safety is very important, but getting a patient to his or her destination is more important. Number 2, safety comes before everything else, even if that means declining or canceling a scheduled trip. Number 3, the passenger has final say about safety issues. Well, safety comes before everything else, and that is obviously the right answer. So for question 1, safety comes before everything else, even if that means declining or canceling a scheduled trip. Question 2 of 5, consider the following scenario, then answer the question. It's a hot day in Los Angeles and you're driving a 62-year-old patient to a radiation treatment center. The air conditioning is on, your passenger's not talking much. Looking in the rearview mirror, you notice that she has her sweater on and her arms are wrapped around herself. Based on your observation, which of the following seems most appropriate to you? 1, say nothing, you don't want to disturb your passenger. 2, assume your passenger is cold and turn the air conditioning off. 3, ask your passenger if she's comfortable and whether she needs anything. The correct answer is to ask your passenger is comfortable and ask if she needs anything. In other words, don't assume. Question 3. Consider the following scenario, then answer the question. When you arrive at the pickup location, your passenger is accompanied by someone who is not listed on the mission itinerary. Is it okay for that passenger to ride with you? Yes or no? Well, shoot, if they've signed the waiver of liability, then yes, that's the correct answer. Okay, it's fine for a passenger who is accompanied by someone who is not listed on the mission itinerary. However, just be sure to add them to the liability waiver and have them sign that waiver. And again, that's something you can always reach out to the Mission Ops team for help with if it's not obvious. Question 4. Consider the following scenario, then answer the question. You've been assigned to drive a patient from her home to the Santa Monica airport. From there, an Angel Flight pilot will be flying her to San Francisco for a deployment at the University of San Francisco Medical Center. On the morning of your assigned mission, you're experiencing severe dizziness from medication your doctor prescribed for you 2 days earlier. What should you do? Number 1, cancel the mission. Number 2, drive that patient to the airport so she won't miss her appointment but stay off highways just to be safe. Number 3, call the patient and explain your situation. Let her decide whether or not she wants you to drive. The correct answer is 1, cancel the mission. Okay, question 5, child restraints. Match the type of car seat to the most appropriate age by dragging the correct car seat type into the space next to the age group, to each age group. We covered this in the command pilot orientation. The answers are the same. A 10-year-old child who is the oldest gets a seatbelt. The next oldest child is a 7-year-old child, and they will get the booster seat. The next oldest child is a 4-year-old child. They will get a forward-facing car seat. And the infant always goes in a rear-facing car seat. So these are the correct answers. A 4-year-old goes in a forward-facing car seat. An infant goes in a rear-facing car seat. A 10-year-old goes in a seatbelt. And a 7-year-old uses a booster seat. Okay, almost done. Driving a mission. This lesson covers all the steps involved in driving a mission. Please note that failure to follow the complete process for driving driving a case may cause unnecessary scheduling conflicts and confusion for staff, and ultimately may undermine passenger safety and security.
So you might be wondering, well, who uses Angel Flight and how do they find out about us? Well, a lot of people find out about us on their own or through a medical facility when they have transportation as a barrier to healthcare. And we take that call and we vet every request through a medical facility. So the passengers that you're going to be driving are ambulatory and medically stable, meaning they can get in and out of your car on their own. They're going to have some sort of financial need or other compelling consideration, and those other compelling considerations could be that they're immune compromised or repeated trips, or they're just physically not up to repeated trips or commercial transportation or other forms of paid transportation. We also require that we're getting at least a week's notice from the person that's requesting the flight, and that they understand that we're volunteer service and that we're doing this all free of cost. Once we've established that and vetted it through the passenger, then we post those opportunities online, and that's when you end up signing up for them. If you ever have any questions or concerns about a passenger that you particularly drove or anything, again, we've got processes in place for that. Contact the office and we'll take care of it. Thanks so much.
Okay, mission request and assignment. In this video, Josh reviews the different ways of finding a trip to drive and signing up for that trip. The key takeaways are you can find pending missions yourself on the Angel Flight West website. Mission requests can be emailed to you, and you may call, or an Angel Flight West mission coordinator may call you directly with a mission request.
So you volunteer because you want to help people and drive. So here's how it's going to work. You're going to get a couple automated emails per week that says all the trips, where they're going to and from, with the addresses, the pilots attached to the flight, that sort of thing. You can sign into our website anytime and check those whenever you'd like. And then occasionally you'll receive a phone call from a coordinator if we haven't found someone saying, hey, are you available on this date at this time to do this trip? And you say, yes, I'd love to, or you say, no, sorry, I'm busy that week. And we'll move on to the next volunteer. So it's easy. Sign up, log in anytime, and sign up. Thanks.
Okay, next, preparing for mission. You've been assigned a mission, now what? In this video, Josh reviews the essentials for proper mission preparation. Key takeaways are a mission itinerary form will be emailed to you by the Angel Flight West office. Review that mission itinerary to make sure all essential information is included. If there's a pilot attached to the itinerary, contact the pilot first to confirm details, then contact the passenger or requester if someone other than the passenger requested the mission. If there is no pilot attached to the mission, contact the passenger or requester to confirm mission details.
So once you've signed up for a mission, you're going to get a mission itinerary form from the coordination staff. And that'll have all the details of the passenger, any other drivers that are attached, and any pilots that are attached to flying. You're going to want to review that information and then reach out to the connecting pilots, if there are any, and the passenger to say, hi, I'm your Earth Angel. This is the kind of car I drive. This is what I'll be wearing. This is where I'm going to meet you, and this is where I'm going to deliver you. So you're confirming all the details. You're reassuring them that you're going to be there and help them. And then you're making sure all the links with the pilots and any other transportation legs are on that work as smoothly and efficiently as you can. If you have any questions or there's anything that comes up during that, you can always reach back out to the coordination staff and they'll jump in and help you guide you through the process. Okay.
Here's a sample mission itinerary. We are right now about 1 minute over the session duration that I was supposed to stick to. However, I think Stefan is going to check and see if we have any additional time we can use here. In other words, when does the next session start? I'm going to keep going. Okay, it's the day of the trip. You've already confirmed the trip logistics with the connecting pilot, if there is one, and the passenger or requester. In this video, Josh reviews the essential items you'll need for your drive. The key takeaways is you always want to have your Angel Flight West ID badge with you. We are running behind right now and getting badges out to new volunteers, so don't feel like you must have your AFW badge if you're itching to request your first mission. You also want to confirm destination with the passenger or requester one last time. You will be waiting for the passenger for the return. If you will be waiting for the passenger for the return trip, make sure the passenger or requester has your cell phone number. Confirm logistics for meeting them when they are done with their appointment. And be prepared to collect a signature for the one-time waiver in case a passenger not listed on the itinerary is traveling. For example, if an alternative caregiver is traveling.
So now it's the day of your trip, and you're already going to have confirmed a day or two ahead of time with the passenger and any connecting pilots or other drivers about timing, location, details. That would include, by the way, if it's a passenger with a young child, to make sure that they're bringing their own car seat. So that's accounted for. Then you're going to meet them, you're going to greet them warmly, and you're going to have them sign a waiver of liability that you can transmit via a smart device, or you can email or fax it to the office once that's signed and your trip is completed. Then the trip itself, some people are going to be chatty, some people are going to be going through some serious treatment, maybe they're tired and want to take a nap or just check out for a while. You'll feel that out on your own. But you can confirm with them if they want music, if they don't, confirm with them where you're going again in case that's changed last minute for some reason. And give them your cell phone information if you're the one taking them back or if they need anything else. The other thing that we're going to give to you is a checklist. You'll have your badge to identify yourself. And we do welcome cards too in other languages in case you're Spanish speaking or some other language is spoken. Then you would do a drive normally as you always would and drop them off and close any other loops that you might have. Yeah. Cut out.
Okay, next topic, completing a mission. Once you've completed your mission, there is one last piece of business to take care of before it can be considered complete. In this video, Josh discusses the mission report and also how you can help get the word out about Angel Flight West. The key takeaways are mission reports need to be filed upon completion of a trip. Include in that report any expenses you incur for a mission. They are tax deductible. And we also encourage you to take photos of your trip with your passenger's permission and upload your photos to the Angel Flight West website with your mission report.
So congratulations, you've successfully delivered to your passenger where he or she is going, but we're not quite done yet. We'll need you to log back into the system and file a mission report. So please keep track of your mileage during the trip because you'll enter it here and a mission coordinator will approve that. Then at the end of the year, we provide that information for you and you take it to your tax preparer, and that's a tax deductible cost as an in-kind contribution to Angel Flight West. There'll also be an opportunity to upload photos and to share what you've just done on social media. We encourage you to do both of those. That helps us tell our story better and reach more people in need of our services, which is both very important. And that's it. That's the whole process.
Okay, changing or canceling a mission. Although Angel Flight prides itself on safety and reliability, obstacles can arise for the passenger, the pilot, or you. In this video, Josh discusses what to do if a mission has to be changed or canceled altogether. The key takeaways are safety is paramount. The commitment to drive a passenger to treatment should never compel you to drive in weather should never compel you to drive when in weather, mechanical, or other conditions make for unsafe driving conditions. A mission change or cancellation may be initiated by you, the pilot, the passenger or requester, or the Angel Flight West staff. If you initiate a schedule change or cancellation, number one, call the Angel Flight West office and let the team know. Number two, call the passenger or when appropriate, the requester. And number three, call the pilot if applicable.
It's important to note that Angel Flight West is not a guaranteed service. We rely on volunteers and passengers whose schedules often change, or there's other things out of our control, like weather or mechanical issues, or someone gets sick, that type of thing. So I want to be sure that you know that you can cancel anytime. If you're not feeling well, if there's a catastrophe in your family or something happens, you call the Angel Flight office and we'll step in there and take care of it. We also ask that after you call the Angel Flight office that you try to touch base with the passenger and or other pilot. There are also going to be times where the flight cancels on you. So weather gets bad at the last moment and a pilot can't make the trip, or a patient isn't well enough to fly, or blood count isn't well enough to receive treatment. That type of thing does happen. And the coordination team will be in touch with you, as will the other pilots and drivers and patients too. So we just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that and know that you can cancel at any time, and that the other passengers and pilots can do the same. That was good.
Okay, lesson 2 quiz for Earth Angels. Question 1. Children must never ride in your car without an age-appropriate car seat. It is your responsibility as a driver to provide a car seat. False. The children's parent or guardian is responsible for providing a car seat. Angel Flight West nor its volunteers do not provide car seats. Question 2. Which of the following is not a way to sign up for a mission? By receiving a phone call from Angel Flight West. If you know a patient, call him or her directly, or respond to an email from Angel Flight West, or sign up through the Angel Flight West website. The one way that is not a way to sign up, the one answer that is not a way to sign up for a mission is to call a patient directly. Question 3, true or false? Volunteer drivers should never contact passengers or pilots directly. False. Volunteer drivers, once you receive a mission itinerary, you should contact the passenger and the pilot, if there is an airline, directly to confirm logistical details. In other words, volunteer drivers and pilots participate in the coordination process. Question 4, who can cancel a mission for reasons of safety? Only Angel Flight staff? Only passengers or Angel Flight staff? Only pilots or Angel Flight staff? Only drivers, or drivers, pilots, passengers, or Angel Flight staff? The best answer is drivers, pilots, passengers, or Angel Flight staff. Well, those were the correct answers, but that last page didn't do so well. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap up with lesson 3, introduction to VPOIDs. VPOIDs is the website Angel Flight West uses to schedule and coordinate missions and to communicate with drivers, staff, patients, and medical facilities. VPOIDs is the central hub that keeps the Angel Flight West operation running smoothly. As a driver, VPOIDs will be an essential part of your activity. Lesson objectives. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to use VPOIDs to find and sign up for available missions, file and view mission reports, find contact information for other AFW members, collect a one-time waiver if required, and manage personal information and account settings. So this is stuff that we have covered earlier. I'm going to just head right for the lesson 3 quiz in interest of time. There are 5 lesson 3 questions. Please take note. Which of the following is not something you can do through VPOIDs? 1, rent a car. 2, edit your personal account information. 3, sign up to drive a mission. And 4, receive email requests for mission drivers. You cannot rent a car through VPOIDs. Question 2, which letter indicates the type of mission like that applies to drivers? Both G and P, or just P, or just G? Just G, which stands for ground, is the correct answer. Question 3 of 5. You pick up your passengers and one of the passengers' names is different than is listed in the itinerary. You have a smartphone with you. How can you access the electronic one-time liability waiver for your passengers to sign? Select all that apply. That's a good question. You must go to the itinerary mission email. Correct. You pick up your passengers and one of the passengers' names is different, so you have to get them to sign the one-time waiver. The way to do that is to go to the mission itinerary email, which you'll have in your smartphone email application, open that up, and you can execute the waiver with the passenger. Question 4 of 5. You have signed up to receive emails about available missions but have not received any. Where in VPOIDs can you most likely fix the problem? Select all that apply. Number 1, the instrument panel. Number 2, membership renewal. Number 3, member roster. Number 4, account settings. The correct answer is number 4, account settings. Question 5 of 5, this is the last question. You should call the Angel Flight office if you have not received a response to a mission request in number 1, midday of the following business day. Number 2, a week. Number 3, 2 business days. Number 4, 3 days. Midday of the following business day is the correct answer if you have not received a response to your mission request. Again, we process these mission requests during business hours. So for example, if you filed a request on Friday at 6 p.m., we're not going to be able to process that request until Monday morning. All right, folks, that concludes this session. Hopefully that was very helpful for those of you who have not finished your orientation yet. As I mentioned, I can be reached anytime during business hours at the information I put in the chat. And also, it is currently on the front page of the website, training.angelflightwest.org. And I hope to speak to each and one of you soon and assist you in any way that I can getting on with your training. That concludes this lesson, and thank you so much for your participation.